Welcome viewers to my Game Week 4 video where I'm going to go through my team selection for Game Week 4 and I'm just going to give a recap of how my Game Week 3 went. But the main topic of this video is going to be based on my wildcard, and yeah, I had to wildcard because my Game Week 3 was alright, but I could have scored more points if I had certain players. And looking ahead past the international break, I wanted to capitalize on certain teams, so I've decided to wildcard, and let's get into that in this video. So as you can see here, my Game Week 3 team scored 66 points, which was just 2 points ahead of the average, which was 64. That was the worldwide average, and it wasn't great because I just gained rank slightly, and yeah, I wasn't happy with some of the players who performed last week, so decided to go with a wild card and just revamp my entire team in preparation for the weeks ahead. So looking at my team, current wildcard team, and it looks like that, with Henderson and Raya in goal, Saliba, Pau Torres, Pinnock, Lewis Dunk and Trent Alexander-Arnold as the defenders. And then in my midfield I've got Parma, Salah, Eza, Semenyo, Mbumo, and forwards are Wisa, João Pedro and Nicholas Jackson. So rejigged the lineup, and the reason behind some of the selections you'll see is as follows. So with the goalkeeper situation, I've gone for Henderson in goal. Looking at the goalkeepers available who I could switch to, I wasn't really comfortable with any of the rest, and I didn't want to drop down to a 4 million goalkeeper, so I decided to just stick with Henderson, who has a decent fixture against Leicester at home. Leicester, I don't expect them to score too many goals this season, so I think that's a good fixture that, I'm banking on a clean sheet for Crystal Palace. I watched the Palace game against Chelsea, and the defense was relatively solid. They only conceded one goal, but they did kind of stifle the Chelsea attack, and I was impressed with the organisation at the back. So, and Henderson got 4 saves, so hopefully he can return a clean sheet this week. So that is my goalkeeper choice. I've gone with Henderson over Raya because Arsenal have suffered a few injuries, notably to Martin Odegaard, and with Declan Rice also suspended for this fixture, I think that weakens their midfield, and I think Spurs will be able to get at them a bit more. So I've gone with Raya on the bench, and I also see Havertz dropping back into Rice's position. So it's a bit of a changed lineup that we're going to expect to see on Sunday. So I've gone with Henderson because I feel like Palace should keep the clean sheet. Moving on to the defence, as you can see, I've kept Saliba and Pau Torres, but I've also included Pinnock, Dunk and Trent Alexander-Arnold. And the reason for going for Lewis Dunk was I looked at Brighton's upcoming fixtures, as you can see on the screen, and Ipswich at home and Nottingham Forest at home. I don't rate them to score too much, so based on the fixture tracker you can see on the screen, their offensive strength is rated at 2, so I've gone for Dunk because he's got a good set of upcoming fixtures, and I kind of wanted to capitalize on Game Week 4 and Game Week 5 fixtures. And when it comes to Trent looks to be clear of the rest of the defenders, and when it comes to potential for attacking returns, and he's got a good set of upcoming fixtures as well. Nottingham Forest, who I don't think under Nuno will score too many goals. Bournemouth away is a bit of a tricky. Bournemouth at home, sorry, is a bit of a tricky one, but I don't see Liverpool conceding there. And Wolves away, again, it's not really a game that you'd say Liverpool will struggle with. So I've gone with Trent, based on the fixtures you can see there that are rated based on the strength of the opposition's attack. And yeah, Nottingham Forest, I don't see too many goals there. And Wolves, I don't see them scoring. So I've gone for Trent because I want to capitalise on Liverpool's strong defensive record so far. Haven't conceded any goals, so hopefully they can carry on with that. And when it comes to Pau Torres, I've kept him in because of Aston Villa's good upcoming run. You can see I've highlighted the easy run of fixtures that Aston Villa have coming up in game week 4, 5 and 6. Got Ipswich away in game week 6, Everton at home game week 4 and Wolves at home game week 5. I could see at least 2 clean sheets there, but obviously that's me being optimistic, but I can see a few clean sheets there, and hopefully he delivers on that front. And Saliba, I've kept him in because I have the logic that the double Arsenal defence is going to do well this season. And once Rice is reintegrated and Odegaard comes back from injury, I think Arsenal will be solid defensively. In the midfield, I've gone for Palmer, Salah, Eza, Semenyo and Mbeumo. Semenyo was based on the fact that, they've got Chelsea next. Chelsea haven't looked solid at the back. And I know game week 5 is a bit tricky with Liverpool away, but after that they've got Southampton and Leicester at home, who you'd expect Bournemouth to really put a few goals past. So I transferred out Diogo Jota for Semenyo because if you look at Jota's minutes, the minutes he's played currently, the last 3 game weeks, he had 78 minutes game week 1, 71 minutes game week 2, 75 minutes game week 3, and with the Champions League returning, I don't expect him to be playing more than 70 minutes, whereas Semenyo has been getting 90 minutes or close to 90 minutes in all the games so far, so expect him to play more minutes in the next set of fixtures before the next international break. And Jota, I could see Jota being rotated maybe once, with the games coming up, or he could be subbed off early. So I'm going away from Jota and bringing in Salah to the team because Salah, he plays 90 and he's shown a very strong, run of form the opening 3 games. So Salah comes in, Jota goes out and Semenyo comes in. Then up front, I've gone for Wisa, Pedro and Jackson. Jackson came in for Havertz because next 2 games for Arsenal, Havertz has Spurs and City away. And for the Spurs game, I expect him to play in central midfield because Rice is suspended. So I don't see him getting some returns there. The following game against City is a hard game away from home. I don't see him scoring there, so I've gone away from Havertz just for the time being. Brought in Jackson. He's got Bournemouth, who are relatively leaky at the back, and Jackson has been in form. So, Jackson, I think he's a solid striker, and I could see him improving on his numbers from last season. The following game, he's got West Ham away, and West Ham are not as strong as City, obviously, so I think that was a decent switch. João Pedro, we know he's a known quantity, and Brighton have a decent upcoming run, so I wanted to capitalize on having a Brighton attacker, and I've gone for Pedro because he's on penalties as well. And Yohan Wissa comes in for Rodrigo Muniz, who has been very disappointing, and I've gone for Wissa in preparation for the game week 6 stretch where Brentford have a really amazing run of fixtures, I think up until game week 12 or something. And Visa has been involved in 10 goals in his last 10 Premier League games. So he's in form and I expect him to keep on delivering. That's my bench order. Raya for the goalkeeping position. Wisa the first bench option. City away is a difficult one. And Saliba on the bench as well as Pinnock. So that's my bench order. And when it comes to the captaincy, I'm looking at Palmer against Bournemouth away. I don't think I'll change this, and I think I'll go with Eza as a vice captain. Salah he's in form, but Forest, I think under Nuno, Forest are very well drilled defensively, so I think that would be a tricky game for Salah. And with the Champions League fixtures coming back into play, Salah might be rotated, or not rotated, he might not play the full game, depending on, how things are going in the match. And Palmer, obviously, he's not involved in the Conference League fixtures, so it makes it a slightly easier choice for me to go for him as a captain. And there you go, that's my final team. Looking at that, I think I'm ready to tackle the upcoming game weeks, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful, and I will see you next week.